Hello, Dr. Dyke Drummond here with the next one of our burnout prevention videos. And in this video, I'm going to show you, rather than burnout always being bad, burnout actually has a highest and best use. You may have already put it to that use, but I'm going to show you burnout's highest and best use in this video. Here's my experience of burnout and its ability to make positive changes in people's lives. Certainly when you are in an episode of burnout, it feels terrible and it affects your performance and your quality of life. But on the far side, when you've gone through an episode of burnout, it can actually be a very powerful, positive change that the burnout brings about in your life. It's actually one of the sources of wisdom for those of us who get to be old like me. And if you ever want to verify that for yourself, think of somebody in your life who you really look up to. Usually this is an older person where you say to yourself, wow, when I'm their age, I hope I'm half as cool as they are. And go ask this person if you can buy him a cup of coffee. And then in your conversation, I want you to ask him this question. Tell me your burnout story. And the cooler this person is, the more likely they are to ask you, which one? Because burnout actually marks the significant transitions in our life. And I get a job. And that job is perfectly willing to show me another set of tracks, except in your first job, they call that a different name. They call it the way we do things around here. So you're a good soldier. You say, great, all I got to do is just the way things we do around here. And you take off on your career, but pretty soon it gets uncomfortable. Because what are the odds that the way we do things around here is pointed right at your ideal job description? What are the odds? It starts with a Z. Right. So what happens is you fight the good fight, you follow the rules, you do exactly what people expect of you, the way we do things around here, and you get more and more and more uncomfortable until you get to a point where you say, I can't take it anymore. And you either change what you're doing here or you go get yourself a new job. That turning point where you can't take it anymore, that's burnout. And what it's trying to do is to turn you onto a path with more purpose. It's trying to get you to make your practice and your career your own so that it feels more comfortable to you. And let me ask you this. Have you had a period of time in your life where you were doing what everybody expected of you, coloring inside the lines, working real hard, and it got so uncomfortable that you had to make a change? And when you look back now, that change is responsible for who you are today. That was an episode of burnout, and it turned you back onto your path with more purpose. The challenge is it goes through this crisis point. I can't take it anymore. In your case, you turn towards the light. You put it to its highest and best use. But I'll tell you, there are people who get to the I can't take it anymore, and they fall prey to depression and drugs and alcohol and suicide. So what I always try to do is help doctors take the crisis out of this. If you're burned out right now, it's here for a purpose. It wants to put you on a path. It wants to put you on a path that's more aligned with who you really are. And how do you get there from here? You've heard me say this before, your ideal practice description. What in an ideal world do you want your practice to look like? Let's start moving in that direction now so that you don't get to the point where you say, I can't take it anymore, and a crisis takes you there. Does that make sense? So burnout's highest and best use is to make you so uncomfortable you change your life to a path with more purpose. It doesn't have to be that way, and that's why we perfected the ideal job description, ideal practice description process. And if this lesson is resonating with you right now, you'd like to shortcut this process, go to that lesson now in the library, the ideal practice description, and get started. So for me, I learned this lesson the hard way. I've been through 2 episodes of burnout. I told you that in my story at the beginning of the introduction to the program. You may have been there once or twice in your own life, but I want you to know that if you survive burnout, it usually is a very positive force in your life. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next one of these training videos. Until then, keep breathing and have a great rest of your day.